Welcome friends, thank you for joining me on my food journey, and today I'm going to walk you through how to make the best, easiest, crispy skin salmon. 4 easy steps. Number one, we're going to dry it off. Make sure there's no extra moisture on there because A, it's dangerous in the hot oil, and B, it just makes it really difficult to get a nice crispy skin. Part 2, we're going to season the flesh side only. Number 3, make sure our pan is nice and hot. We're using stainless steel pan and extra virgin olive oil. Number 4, we're going to be patient. Lots of cooking is about patience. So let's get started. Salmon is here, beautiful fillets. I'm going to go ahead and take one here. I've got a paper towel ready to go. Getting this nice and dry. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure, skin onto the paper towel, because that's the main part that's going to be cooking your salmon. We go get that nice and dry. Take a check, move it, drop it back down, and put a little bit of kosher salt on there, not too much, because you can always season at the very end. Now I'm going to walk over to my saute pan. I've got some extra virgin olive oil in there. It's nice and hot, but to double check the temp, you can always crack a little bit of pepper in there, and it'll start to bubble when it's hot. So come on. So now I'm here with my hot pan. My oil is hot to me. Let me double check and make sure by cracking a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper right in there. Once it starts to bubble, you see that? That is ready for your protein. Again, we're gonna go skin side down, but we're gonna be really careful about it. We're gonna get a nice grip on the fish, place the end closest to us in the pan first, and slowly release it into the pan like so. You hear that? That sound is butter. Now, we're gonna apply a little bit of pressure using our fish spatula. Invest in one of these, it's definitely worth it. They're not that expensive. They're a great kitchen tool. Apply a little bit of pressure towards the middle of the fillet, not too much to where you're squashing it and ruining the shape of it, but you do wanna make sure you get all that skin onto the surface of the pan. We're gonna hold that there for at least 30 seconds. What are you gonna do for the next 30 seconds? I don't know. Crispy skin salmon, going on, crispy skin salmon, I think it's been about 20 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and release that. And now the trick is to check the coloring of the salmon. So as it starts to cook, the salmon will change colors. It's gonna go from that beautiful bright orange to a more opaque, almost beige, like a pinkish beige. So now you can see here it's already about a quarter of the way up the flesh of the fish. That's great. Temperature is fabulous. We're gonna leave it there. We're not gonna bother it. It's all about patience. Remember, we're gonna dry it off. We're gonna season the flesh. We're gonna make sure our pan is hot, and then we're gonna be patient. Those are our 4 basic steps to perfect crispy skin salmon. Patience, patience, patience is this last step right here. We're gonna wait until that opacity starts to come out about 2/3 up the fish. It's not there quite yet. So again, we're just gonna wait. All right, so now as you guys can see, this is still cooking, but it's also still spreading that opacity. I think there's about 2 minutes left on this cooking process for this salmon. What you can do at this point is plan your sauce. If you're gonna do some sort of a glaze, this is when you plan it. If you don't already have it made, you can go ahead and get that made. I'm just gonna use a little hot spicy honey and some fresh lemon juice. Let me get that lemon sliced. Don't need too much. It's just 1 piece of salmon. Bring it over to the pan. You're not gonna add this until you flip it over to the flesh side, because you're not trying to ruin all that crispy skin you worked so hard getting. This bad boy looks great. So now you can also see that there is a nice golden brown layer right here where the skin and the flesh meet. That is gorgeous. What you don't want is black. Black is burnt. Golden brown is perfect and beautiful. It's fabulous. I do love it so. So now we're getting to the point where we are about 3/4 of the way up on the edges here. This one's almost all the way. I'm going to, in one little swoop, flip this salmon. So make sure you find a place. One move. Of course, you can use your hand. This is your food. Careful. Flip it. Leave it alone. Again, patience, patience, patience. At this point, you can see it is nice and hot. I'm sure you feel the steam. And if you do want to add a sauce, still wait about another minute. Let it cook a little bit longer because with that heat level, it could burn any sugars you have in like a lemon juice or like I'm using a honey. So you have to be patient. This looks great. I'm going to reduce the heat even lower. Check my sides. Always move your pan. See, there's still a little bit of rawness in the middle. That's okay. There's a little thing called carryover cooking where even when you remove it from the heat, your protein still cooks. So I'm going to turn this off. Move it a little bit closer to me. Angle it away from myself. Add my lemon juice. Because it's going to splatter. When you add any type of liquid to hot oil, it splatters. Now we're going to go in with a little bit of that honey. See, fish spatula is also a honey spatula. Got a nice little mix in the pan. It's just gorgeous. I can't wait for you guys to smell this at home. Now in one little swoop, again, after being patient, I'm going to move my spatula right underneath the flesh so that that sauce can get on that too. And you notice nothing is sticking to the pan. A lot of people are afraid to use stainless steel because they want nonstick pans because they're afraid of it sticking. As long as you keep it hot, the right temperature with the right amount of moisture, it won't stick. So this is gorgeous, beautiful, nice and crispy. You can hear that sound. Oh, I love it. Look how it just glides in the pan. Look at you. That salmon is cute. Don't ask me out, salmon. I'm taken. All right, now this is time we can actually let this rest. It's already off, but you want to remove it from the heat source itself. This is still super hot. So I'm going to slide it over and let that hang out for another minute or so. So at this point, if you have any sides that you're going to plate along with the salmon, this is when you want to put them onto your plate. This right here is a perfectly crispy skinned salmon. As you can tell, this fish spatula glides right off the skin. It's fully opaque, but it's also still got some bounce to it, so they're just real crispy. I like these edges here being nice golden brown, fabulous. Now it's also sliding around in its own little lemon and honey glaze. We're gonna plate that on top of a nice little side in just a second here. All right, y'all. So we've just crispied up the skin of a beautiful fillet of salmon, seasoned simply with a little bit of kosher salt. We finished that after we flipped it over with some honey and some fresh lemon juice. By the way, that was some hot honey. This is gonna be a great flavor blast. I've decided to pair this with some oven roasted asparagus, which you'll find the tutorial in another video for. Remember, like and subscribe. Chef Kirsten Hawker, I love you too. Don't worry about it. So I'm just gonna plate this right on top of the asparagus. Remember, we did all that work to crispy up the skin, so we wanna show it. We don't wanna cover it with any sauce. So, I'm gonna get right underneath that with my handy dandy fish spatula. Use your hands because it's your food, okay? Fish spatula goes away. Spoon comes into play. Just gonna scrape what I've got left in this pan. Spoon it around. That looks fabulous. You only get a little bit more of that there. And at the very end, I'm gonna crack a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. And there you have it, folks. Crispy skinned salmon, super simple, nice and easy, and there's even a nice little sauce. So again,